Hit me.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Omar. I am from Mexico and I took my Shahada 6 years ago. I was born in Mexico City and I grew up in a state called Oaxaca, south of Mexico. So I come from a family with my mom got divorced to my dad when I was at age of 5 or 4. That's what my mom told me. So when she moves to Oaxaca, I grew up there. Basically, there is Oaxaca is the south part of Mexico, like I say, and they speak a native language there. So I learned that language too, and I studied my high school there. I finished my high school there, and when I finished my high school, I there is a lot of like the youth, they like to go to the US, and that was my dream to go to the US too. So I went to the US when I was about 19 years old. When I went to the USA, I stayed with my uncle, and there is no mothers, no one advised you. So I was starting going out with the the friends. We can say that if they're friends, and we start going on the street and hang with a lot of that kind of people. So after 1 year, I got married with my wife. Alhamdulillah, I still married with my wife, the same woman. Alhamdulillah, and at that time, I used to hang with people who used to hang on the street, like gang members. And I remember one time we went out with these guys, and he comes out with a problem with another guy, I guess gang members, and they have a gun and they almost kill us there. But alhamdulillah, I think there's a barakah from Allah Azza wa Jal that nothing happened to us. And from that, I want to be a better person, and I used to go every Sunday to the church. Like I come from a Christian family, and I used to go every Sunday to the church to hear what the preacher says. But I think I was searching for something else, because I can see on the time when I went to the church, a lot of stuff not good. But still, I love being Christian at that time, so I just want to be Christian, right? So all of a sudden, I have a friend who works with a man from Middle East, and he told me that he needs someone who work with him, and I told him that also I need a job. So he gave me his cell phone number and told me okay, you call him and tell him that I am your friend, and just go ahead. So I did so. I call him every day. I used to call him. I said hey guy, you have a job for me? Please, I need a job. I have my family. I have to support them. And after that, he told me okay, you're gonna work with me. And subhanallah, that was a guy from Jordan. But he's from Jordan, from Circassian. So these guys are tough guys, mashallah. So when I met that guy, we used to do fire safety. So we do a lot of physical work, and I see this guy very tough guy. So all of a sudden, I noticed that every time that was several times at the day that he goes, and he used to tell me okay, wait me 5 minutes, and he goes and he wash his face and his hand, and he goes behind the utility truck. We used to have an utility truck, and he goes in the back, and he used to do some stuff I just go and put my face up, oh, what's this guy doing, what is this? And he used to come back and say okay, let's go to work. And I'm kind of I don't want to ask him, because he was my boss, right? What are you doing this? I don't want to ask him that. So anyways, we always like, because we do fire safety, we always on road, like we go from north to south and east west and all that stuff. So anyways, I remember one day we came like about before Maghrib. I remember that time, and he always listened to the Quran. He always listened to the Quran, but that day especially, I heard it so beautiful. I heard so beautiful, and I told him like, who's that singer? I thought there was a singer, right? So I told him like, oh, mashallah, you know these guys. I didn't say mashallah, but I said like, oh, you dude, look, this guy, he has a beautiful voice. Like, what he's singing? Like, he's singing for the woman or what? Because his voice is so beautiful. And he looked at me like this, and he said like, wait, are you crazy? This is not music. This is the Quran. So I tell him like, the Quran? What do you mean the Quran? This is music. And he says, no. This is Quran. This is we are Muslim, and that's the way we recite the Quran. And I said like, you're Muslim? Like what? Like, you guys like the other terrorists? You're gonna blow yourself, something like that? And he says like, no. Listen, this is not Islam. So he started telling me about a little bit about Islam, telling me like, did you know this is not Islam? The Islam is not you go and blow yourself or kill people or do stuff like that. And anyways, from that day and up, I like to listen this Quran, and I always asking him like, okay, can you put that tape? Can you put that tape? Can you put every day? I remember. So all of a sudden, there is two places that I like to hear from this Quran. And I asked him like, because of course he speaks Arabic, and can you translate for me what he's saying? And he says like, okay, but this is two special parts. And he told me, okay, to begin, this is Surah to Al-Imran, Ali Imran, the family of Imran. And I thought myself like, oh, maybe that's why I like it, because it comes from family of Maryam and Jesus, and because I'm Christian, maybe that's why I love to hear this. And he says, okay, I'm gonna translate for you, and the two places you like. So I say, okay, put the tape, and he put the tape. I was listening, and they say, okay, stop there, and can you translate for me what he's saying? And he says like, okay. And this part, Allah Azza wa Jal says the only religion in his size is the Islam. And when he says that, I thought like, man, this guy is pulling my leg. Like, he telling me like that, and because he's a Muslim and I'm a Christian? No way. There is no such a thing. I cannot like exactly this part of the Quran, right? And I told him, okay, put it back. Okay. And he says, okay. And we start listening again, and he says, okay, stop right there. Can you translate the other part? And he says like, okay, this part that Allah Azza wa Jal says, I have been chosen from all over the women in the world, Maryam. And the other part says like, I met Isa the same way I met Adam. When he told me this, I said like, no way, this guy is joking. Like, how come I will like these two parts? Like, there is no way. I'm a Christian and he's telling me these parts, like, that means like, there is no way. And he told me like, no, this is true. Like, I'm telling you the truth. And tomorrow I will bring you a Quran in Spanish and you will read it yourself. And I said, oh, sounds good. I like that. I like the idea. So next day he brought me a Quran in Spanish, and he told me like, okay, listen, from this ayah to this ayah you read, and you will understand, and it's in your language. Okay, go ahead. And I remember he put the tape and I started reading. Okay, this. Okay, oh, I found out he wasn't lying. He says the truth. Like, oh my God, what is this? And I go to the second part, and oh my God, yeah, he's right. He wasn't lying. So I said like, oh my God. And he told me like, okay, go home and read the Quran and just read it. And I went home and I read a couple pages, and then I put like, I'm a Christian. What I'm doing reading this Quran? I don't want to be terrorist. So I just put it away. So anyways, all of a sudden, because I met these guys, and I see him that even though he's a tough guy, he has something in his heart that he's very kind. He's very kind with the people. He always asks me like, do you need something? Are you okay? You this and that. And I see something so beautiful in this guy. So I said like, but I don't want to be like them. So I gonna go to my church, right? Because I'm a Christian. So I used to go even more often to the church. Like, I don't want to be Muslim. So I went a couple times, and I see like I remember one day I went to midnight at they celebrate like the Christian, and I was in the US at this time, and the Mexican they have this virgin called Guadalupe, so they celebrate her birthday at 12 a.m. So I remember I went to this church, and that was a mariachi music, Mexicans and all this stuff, and I saw a guy drunk beside me, like these guys are drunk, and there's a lady with short shirt, and almost nothing there, and the perfume, like very strong perfume, like, and I was thinking like, man, this is not right. I start thinking like, this is not right, like this is the Christianity. So after that I remember that one time, that was a summer, I remember it was summer, he invited me to go for the first time to go to the masjid, and that was summertime. So he told me, like, because I used to wait on the truck, inside the truck, like for the 45 minutes until the khutbah is over, and he told me like, this time he told me like, okay, do you like to go inside? And I asked him like, do you guys have AC inside? I said yes. Oh, okay, of course I like, because the AC on the truck was broke, so we don't have AC. So that was the reason that I went the first time to a masjid. So I went inside, and I see like everywhere, like, okay, what is the church? And he told me like, we don't have chairs, you sit on the floor. Okay, we sit on the floor. And when I started there, I see only men's coming inside, and I thought myself like, okay, so the ladies, where are the ladies? The church we mix, like men and women sitting beside each other, there's no problem. Even we shake hands, like, how you doing? So that day I didn't put attention of the khutbah. I just sit and enjoy the AC, right? Because I need the AC. And next Friday and Thursday, he told me like, you want to go on Friday, because you better dress good to go. And I said, yeah, I see, why not? And then I went several times, and I started paying attention to the khutbah. And I went to this guy, to my friend, and I asked him like, okay, what is this guy? What is you guys do before the prayer? I saw like you guys wash your face and your hand and your feet. What is that? And he told me like, this is like the purification. So before you pray. And I remember he told me like, you want to pray? And I said, yeah. Well, I thought myself like, he's my boss, like I don't want to be fired, so yes, I want to pray. So he told me like, hey, come, I'm gonna show you. And he said, okay, you do 3 times, you wash your mouth, your nose, and all the stuff, right? The purification. And after that, I asked him like, okay, what is Islam? I want to know about Islam. And what is ruku? So what is the meaning behind it? And he started telling me, okay, ruku is this, sujood is this, what is the reason, what is that? And I used to have like hard questions, and he told me like, I cannot answer, you go to the sheikh and you ask him. So he introduced me to the sheikh, and he told me, the sheikh, okay, this is a Mexican guy who worked for me, and he wants to know about these and these and these and these questions, and the sheikh, he used to answer me, right? So I asked almost 2 years asking about Islam. And after I became Muslim, I have a dream, and I saw someone beside me. So I saw myself like in a street, like small street in a village, and someone's coming from the front and someone's coming from the back. So there was a mat inside beside on the road, and we hide on the mat, inside the mat, And then the guy, after the soldiers, they pass us, and the other guy who was beside me, he told me like, okay, let's go see Muhammad. So okay, let's go see Muhammad. Okay, let's go see Muhammad. Okay, and I remember that in my dream, we were walking, and he told me like, stop right there. And I saw like back a guy with dressing on the white, with 2 women beside it, dressed white too. And this thing, like the Saudians, the white thing, I don't know how you call it, the white thing they use, the Saudians, He used to have he used to have it in his shoulder, and the guy he told to the woman is like cover Muhammad, and they put it in his head like this. And then he told me like, okay, come over, and then I come, and then he looked at me, and I just look at him, and after that the guy he told me, okay, now let's go eat. So I remember we sat in like in a circle, and they brought like silver plates with apples, red apples, and we start eating. And then I woke up. After 3 weeks, I told my friend this dream. I told him, oh, remember the other day I was dreaming this and this and this and this, and then he almost stopped on the freeway. He was driving on the freeway like, what? Say it again. He said, I have this dream, but I saw this guy, and he took me with another guy. He dressed all white, and his name is Muhammad, and was 2 women, and we eat some apples, and I says, wait, that there is no way, that must be the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he told me, you know why? Because there is no way, there is a hadith narrated from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam who says that the shaitan doesn't take his form of his body. When he told me this, and these 2 years ago, where I was studying like Islam, I said like, this is it. Like, and he told me like, there is people like they do qiyam al-layl, they wake up, they cry to see the Prophet, and you just like not even a Muslim, and you saw him. And for me, this was a shock. Like, believe me, like I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. If I don't become Muslim, like I'm crazy guy. So that was the reason that I became Muslim. And I told him like, what, I want to take my shahada. I know enough. 2 years of questioning, I know enough to see that Islam is a true religion. And I took my shahada. Alhamdulillah, now I am a Muslim. My life habits change, and also my wife, he took her shahada. And Alhamdulillah, my family saw my change, and they like it. Like, first when I called my mom and I told her like, Mom, listen, I am Muslim. She got scared. She told me like, oh my God, watch it, what you gonna do? And I told her like, don't worry, I'm not gonna go blow myself. And he's just like, okay, don't do it. And I just like, they change. I change, and they see the change. Even I call like my mom, and I told him about Islam, and she's like, oh, she always like, oh, I'm so glad that you became a Muslim. When I talk to my mom, I tell him like about Islam, and she's like, I really like this religion, and inshallah I hope they may Allah Azza wa Jalla guide them to Islam, and all the people too, inshallah. Okay, so Alhamdulillah, I just want to advise to the people who like to sit about Islam. If you want to go and build a wood chair, you go to the carpenter, you don't go to the electricity guy. So that's the way you go your information. You don't go your information from the TV, you go to the books, read the Quran. There is a lot of good books about the Dawah of Islam, and I advise to all the people to really want to know about Islam, like don't even listen to the TV. Go, there is a lot of libraries, and you can go and search. There is a lot of masjid to go and ask things. And Jazakallahu khaira to roadside to Islam, and Barakallahu Fik.